So let's start with the holiday season. Everyone is getting ready to fly, sometimes with family, sometimes to family, sometimes to avoid family. What do the bookings look like so far?
We're really pleased with how we see the Christmas and New Year holidays shaping up, and even more so as we take a look out into the first quarter of 2026. You know, the government shutdown, it had a dampening effect on demand, but I really like what I've seen in terms of bookings post that, and we're ready. You know, an airline is a big, complex operation, and it takes people and equipment and systems to all be working. We've double, triple checked, and I'm so proud of our team. They're ready.
So we've heard from Delta, we've heard from United, we've heard from a number of other airlines about the hit to revenues in the fourth quarter as a result of the government shutdown. I don't believe that American has come out with anything like that. Do you have some sort of estimate of what type of revenue was lost due to the cancellations during the government shutdown?
Well, it's just been a month ago that we were talking about our third quarter earnings and talking about what we were envisioning for the fourth quarter, and really optimistic about bookings that had happened. And at the time, we were in the midst of government shutdown, but the impact was fairly light. At the time, we were saying less than $1 million per day. But as things developed and then we got to the mandated pullbacks, look, there was an impact, and it was substantial. And it not only was it for the day of travel and the cancellations that might have happened or the disruptions, but it was also for the bookings that would have happened during that period. And so there was a dampening effect during the period. Again, the good news is that as soon as we get out of that disruption, as soon as we get to really having an airline system that people have confidence in, they come back to travel. And so that's what gives me great optimism for the holidays and as we look into the first quarter.
I have to be honest, when I talk to people in the industry, the sense of palpable frustration that this is sort of the hot potato in any kind of negotiation is really notable, especially heading into potentially another government shutdown in January. Is there anything you can do to get ahead of it?
Well, I don't like that. Aviation is critical infrastructure to the country. And I think everybody in the administration, everybody in the House and Senate realize that. We have to do the things to keep critical infrastructure running. And while it's commercial aviation, I'd also say, other, really important industries, drones and eVTOLs and anything that's taking into account air mobility depends on air traffic control. And we can't use it, really as a battleground. So I'm confident that our politicians will get together and figure out a way. It starts with protecting our air traffic controllers. Nobody should be asked to come to work and not be paid. And nobody should be used as a pawn in a political negotiation. So I'm really hopeful that by the time we get into January, this will be long behind us.
In the meantime, the airline industry is incredibly competitive, as you know. And we've heard Delta and United talk about their premium offering, talk about increasing their revenue. United in particular, Scott Kirby has come out and said that United and Delta are kind of taking off and apart from American Airlines. How are you fighting back, given that that's the backdrop that you have?
Well, wouldn't they like that to be so? It's absolutely not. It's absolutely not true. And as a matter of fact, you take a look at American Airlines history. We're the ones that developed the frequent flyer programs and airport lounges and the hub and spoke system and global distribution systems. There's just an ethos of innovation at American Airlines. And really, the investments that we've made over the last decade are all set to come about and be ready for where customers want to go. So I was flying back from London over the weekend in our new flagship suite on our 787-9P. And I can tell you that hands down, that is the best product among any of the network carriers in terms of experience. This year, we've announced the opening of the new Philadelphia flagship lounge. We've got a Miami flagship and a Charlotte flagship coming. Nobody has more premium quality lounges than American Airlines. We're going to do a better job at packaging this all together. We have an extreme focus on customer experience. We've got a new organization that's just totally dedicated to that. And just about every week, there's a new announcement with Lavazza Coffee, our Champagne Bollinger, or Raven and Lily amenity kits. I'm really excited about that all being packaged, and us, certainly, talking about that in a fashion that people understand. We've got the best loyalty program, we've got the best product, and it's where people should be flying.
One thing that American Airlines has for it is it's more focused on the domestic regime than some of the other competitors. And I'm just wondering if there's an effort to sort of expand the international network that does become a higher margin offering for so many airlines.
Well, that's right. And this year, that exposure to the domestic region, it had an adverse impact on us. We didn't have as much international exposure. International did very well over the course of the year. Domestic, not so much so. We had uncertainty, the accident with 5342. So there was a lot of things that we had to overcome, and we've done that. But I feel really good about where we're headed. And when it comes to international, we're ready. So not only are the 787-9Ps delivering, but tomorrow we got a big announcement on our 321 XLR aircraft, and those are coming out as well. So you'll see us open up more secondary cities in Europe. You'll just see us do more flying into the hubs of some of our partner carriers. And international will probably outgrow what we do from a domestic perspective, but the two are connected. And I'm really pleased with our domestic operation. We're going to always have the best domestic network. And you go back a number of years, and domestic outperformed international. And we're going to be ready for domestic doing well and international doing well, premium doing well. And really pleased with where we're at.
You've been working on upgrading the entire fleet, and that's something that's been really important for you, especially as you get some of these premium offerings in place. How much have some of the slowdowns, supply chain issues at Boeing and Airbus hampered that ability to really retrofit some of the fleet?
Well, where we stand today, we have the youngest fleet in the industry. We made a tremendous investment from about 2014 to about 2020. And we brought on well over $30 billion of new aircraft. So we have the youngest fleet in the business right now. But on top of new deliveries that we're taking, we don't have any retirements planned. So we're reconfiguring our 777-300s and our 777-200s. We're putting flagship suites on those. Even domestically, we're doing work on our 320s and 319s. But we still depend on new deliveries. And from that perspective, we have a lot of dependence on Airbus to deliver the 321 XLRs, Boeing to continue to deliver the MAX 8s, and hopefully be ready to deliver the MAX 10s that we have on order in 2028. Right now, my only push to the OEMs is deliver on time, deliver a quality product, stick to it. Before you ramp up, let's make sure we can do what you're on the books to deliver now.
Just taking a step back, in the airline industry more broadly, there's been this huge focus on the supreme product, the luxury product. And I wonder what you see in terms of bookings next year, whether it really is the premium product that's continuing to lead and the robustness that you see there while other things fall off. Is it bifurcated in terms of the bookings and the demand, or do you see a wholesale sort of rejuvenation in the interest in travel and ability to spend and pay the prices that actually are there?
Well, I'll just start with this. Demand has been resilient, right? Every time there's cold water poured on the environment, it seems like travelers want to come back, as evidenced by bookings for the holiday season, and as we take a look into the first quarter of next year. I have confidence, though, that overall people want to travel, and in people wanting to travel, I also think that whether you're more economy focused and budget minded, or you're premium services, everybody wants more. Everybody wants better control. Everybody wants more comfort. So I don't think that there is going to be any going back in terms of offering product at any level of the spectrum of offerings. But for us, as we go forward, you'll see us with our lie-flat seat offering. That's going to grow by 50% over the next few years. Premium seating, 20% over the next few years. Whether you're a business traveler who've always wanted more of that comfort and ease of touch, or you're a leisure traveler, there's much more of a demand to really have a better experience, and we're going to meet them there, no matter how you take it.